York City were a restaurant, this man would be in the front of the house. Actually also in the back of the house, and probably finding his way around the kitchen. Ladies and gentlemen, it's none other than New York restaurateur and author, Danny Meyer. Danny, so good to see you. And New York Yankee fan.
These are the Mets, actually.
I meant Mets.
It's okay.
As I said Yankee, I saw the orange. Listen, it's so great to see you here at Pebble Beach.
I know, I only get to see you in Connecticut, New York, and Colorado.
And under tents, you know?
Yeah.
It's so much fun because it's a gathering of old friends, we make new friends. You must know everybody here. When you walk through the tent, it's like the mayor of New York is here. Can you get anywhere without being stopped?
You know what, Sissy, I've got to say, it is one of the biggest honors in this industry after all these years to realize that you actually know a whole lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean, we got Dean Fearing making awesome
from Dallas,
tacos.
right over our shoulder.
Handing me a taco, and
Yeah.
he's a guy who I looked up to so much, I still do, at the beginning of my career. But, you know, last night I was at the after party, and Pierre Gagnier puts his arm around me. And,
of Paris, the very famous Pierre Gagnier.
And I remember, you know, being on the culinary tour and finding this little town of Saint Etienne in France to go pray at the altar of Pierre Gagnier at the beginning of my career, and now he's putting his arm around me, so I feel like the luckiest guy in the world.
Well, I think that anybody that's in the hospitality industry feels awfully lucky because it is, as you have really defined it in Manhattan, you've shown how important hospitality is, but you also have a sort of a really special warmth, your company, Union Square Hospitality. Is that something that you learned at the hem of a grandmother, or was it something that you just sort of figured out as a professional?
I think, if anything, I don't know if you learn it as much as you kind of grow up with it.
Yes.
And I think that having grown up in St. Louis, Missouri, where honestly the food was not all that great, but the hospitality was super. And then coming to New York in the 1980s, when the city was not a very friendly place, but the food was great. And then saying, why can't we just kind of blend these two things together? And that became Union Square Hospitality. First it became Union Square Cafe and Gramercy Tavern.
Now I want to hear you rattle off your restaurants, because it's got to come off your tongue very easily. I know you love your children equally, but just give me your litany, because I'd like to hear you say it.
Union Square Cafe, Gramercy Tavern, The Modern, Blue Smoke, Maialino, North End Grill, Shake Shack. And I'm forgetting somebody that's going to be very hurt.
Oh no! Well, you could say and Shake Shack and Shake Shack and Shake Shack, because you've got Shake Shacks now in the greater New York area. Personal favorite of mine is The Modern. I love
Modern. Just got a beautiful 3-star review from the New York Times.
Was that
so proud?
Was that this week?
It was last week.
Last week.
And our staff is so proud.
I'm so remiss. That means I owe you a note.
You need not ever write me a note. But we're also really excited because we just published a book this week called Family Table.
The Family Table, which is in a restaurant where everybody sits together as a family and eats.
Right, so it's one of the things that I think a lot of guests who come to the restaurants may not be aware of, and that is that before you come to the restaurant, we're cooking for and feeding and taking care of each other. And a lot of people in the restaurant business really look to their restaurant job almost as adjunct to their family. It becomes a family because of all the hours we spend together. And in fact, a lot of us spend more time eating with the restaurant family than we do with our own.
And around that table, I assume then you've got some of your very young line cooks from all parts of the world. I would imagine that's a place to share their cultural influences, and is it also a place to maybe impress the boss?
Well, yes and no. It's totally an opportunity for people to cook from their hearts, from wherever they came. We have people from Ecuador, Colombia, Dominican Republic, Vietnam, and India, and it's kind of an amazing, the Bronx, San Francisco.
Yeah.
Everybody cooks based on whatever is left over in our refrigerator. Or sometimes, let's say we get a beautiful side of beef from which we can get 8 steaks that are good enough for you when you come into the restaurant.
Right.
But now there's some part of the beef that's just as yummy, but it's not shaped properly.
Right.
So somebody is tasked with come up with something, feed the staff. And I will tell you that you will never eat better in our restaurants than our staff ate.
I love it.
Because if they feel good when they serve you, you're going to have a much better experience.
I think we should develop the TV show.
called Family Table.
And we'll just go all over the country.
Family Table with Sissy Biggers.
And eat at different restaurants, family tables, with me, Sissy Biggers. I like the idea.
I think you would learn a lot.
I would learn a lot. But what I like about how you describe the book, it's sort of just a great approach to cooking at home. It's opening the refrigerator, it's seeing what looks good, it's maybe having something that isn't, you're not going to impress the boss at that dinner. I like that idea.
No, you're going to satisfy people. It's soul satisfying.
Right.
It's not the most expensive ingredients. It's the kind of dishes you can do as quickly as possible because the cooks are trying to get family meal out for the staff, but they also have part of their mind on what they have to do when the doors open for service.
Yeah,
it's economical, inexpensive.
I love it.
You can do big portions of it, and that's why we wanted to do a cookbook.
I just love it. It just speaks to me in so many different ways. As you always impress me when we have time together. So if you're on your way to New York, just go to the Union Square Hospitality website and click on our restaurants. No need to go to TripAdvisor. Just go find Danny Meyer and his family.
Thank you, Sissy.
Great to see you. Enjoy your food and wine in Pebble Beach.